Despite being so tiny, you change the fate of a team, perhaps even a country, yet even a small child can imitate you. You are more than just that. You come into play in a real match, at a real moment. The referee blows you without hesitation. You change a player's career. You speak up against injustice. Perhaps you cause a country to lose a cup. Weighing just 9 grams, you become the voice of justice. All the stands fall silent when you speak. You say the final word just like a judge's gavel. Since 1930 you have always spoken, and you spoke about everything. First, you were born as silver, in the coldest state of metal, inside a factory. By the standards of that era, you weren't a Hudson, you weren't plastic either, you were something heavy, carried by hand. As time passed, you changed too. You were impatient to go out for your first match. The tournament organizers chose John Langenus because he was neutral, experienced, and calm. Langenus had a different concern. Before the final, he made a condition. If the crowd got out of control, he wanted his ship kept ready. The ship was prepared. On the final day, 93,000 people filled the Estadio Centenario. Langenus advanced onto the field, taking you in his hand. We do not know how many times you blew in this match. With your every whistle, all the stands fell into silence. Then they waited to see what the ensuing decision would be. Every single time, the game stopped and continued. The final whistle blew. Uruguay won the match. The crowd rushed onto the field. Langenus left quickly. He didn't go to the ship. He went to the dressing room together with you. There was no need for the ship. He looked at you in the dressing room. He smiled. You, a metal piece weighing 9 grams. You had blown along with that reassurance. Langenus passed. You did not pass. For the first time, you fell short. Thanks to you, the red card was invented. It was the Hungary-Brazil quarterfinal match. 2 powerful teams of that era. The match began. From the very first minutes, the harshness began too. In the first half, there were 3 positions worthy of a red card. Since there were no red cards, there was only expulsion, based on words and gestures. You were in the hands of referee Arthur Ellis. You had fallen short that day. No matter how many times he blew you, it didn't work at all. You just remained as a sound. The fight started on the field. The players clashed. The referee stepped in. He blew you repeatedly. Every time, he tried to stop something. Every time, you shrieked a bit more. Even after the match ended, the arguments continued in the dressing room. They named that match the Battle of Berne. Years later, Ellis spoke about that match. He said it was the worst match of his career, and that the whistle fell short. You weren't enough, but you weighed 9 grams. From that day on, football pondered. The answer came from a traffic light. Ellis passed. That lesson did not pass. You did not pass either. You were now beginning to be insufficient on your own. English referee Ken Aston stopped in front of the traffic lights while driving home in his car. He was looking for a solution for you. Suddenly, he looked at the traffic light. At that moment, the idea emerged. Red meant stop. Yellow, caution. He went home and started working. You were no longer going to be alone. You were always the first voice. When you were not heard, the red and yellow cards would come into play. They had added strength to you. You felt this in the 1970 World Cup. Those cries of yours were beginning to yield results. The players who heard you knew what would happen. Either the yellow or the red card would come into play. Clear and precise. You were still 9 grams. Now you had a system beside you. Aston passed. The idea remained. You remained too. You didn't forget some referees. The Italian referee, Pierluigi Collina, the most recognized name in refereeing history. A bald head, deep, hollowed eyes, a tall, well-built physique. When he stepped onto the field, there was no need to look twice. Every player knew him. He was officiating this match. In the 1998 World Cup, he stepped onto the stage for the first time. It was a big stage for him. In this match, a young player objected. He approached his face with harsh words. He didn't blow you. He just looked into the player's eyes. Their heights weren't even equal. The player drew back. At that moment, his eyes had been enough. You hadn't come into play there. The 2002 final match. Collina officiated it. For 90 minutes he blew you. At the correct moments. At precise moments. There was no argument. There was no objection. The match ended. Brazil won. People remembered Collina. While holding you in his hand, there were even those who called him the best referee. The best player on the field. You were a part of that night. You were 9 grams. But that night, you carried a different weight in Collina's hand. Collina passed. You did not pass. Sometimes you see it, but the referee does not. Your voice is heard through the referee. The 2010 England-Germany match. Frank Lampard strikes the ball. The ball crosses the line and bounces back off the crossbar. It is a clear goal. The cameras see it. Everyone sees it. But the referee and the assistant referee do not see it. You do not blow. The goal is not counted. The match continues. The final whistle blows. England loses the match. They are eliminated. In the following days, those images are watched over and over again. It's not being seen is discussed. No answer was given, because there was no answer. The human eye could not see everything. From that day on, technology was talked about to help you. Goal line technology. It arrived years later. It was too late for that match. England never forgot that match. Lampard never forgot that match. The voice you were supposed to blow at that moment, you did not blow. You were still discussed. Not blowing was a decision too. Sometimes it was the heaviest decision. Lampard passed. That silence did not pass. You did not pass either. You became the voice of decisions. You became the voice of arguments too, and of the undisputed moments. Undisputed moments are rare. That's why they are precious. The 2014 Germany-Argentina final. Rio de Janeiro. Italian referee Nicola Rizzoli. 90 minutes end. It goes to extra time. In the 113th minute, Germany scores the goal. You blow. Argentina applies pressure. But the goal doesn't come. You step in. The final whistle blows. A long sound. Germany wins the cup. The Argentinian players are sorrowful. Messi looks at the stands. The German players rejoice. No one talks about the referee or you. No one talks about you. Actually, this is the greatest praise, not being spoken of. If referees are not spoken of, it means they did a good job. Rizzoli passed. That final did not pass. You did not pass either. You always said the very last word. Video assistant referee. Screens. Headsets. Another room. Another set of eyes, the same decision. You are still here. The referee took you in his hand, right when he was about to blow. A voice came to the headset. The pitchside screen. Watch it. He watches the footage from the screens. Thousands of fans wait for the result that will come out. The entire stadium is silent. Sometimes 2 minutes, sometimes 5 minutes. The decision changes or it doesn't change. You say the very last word. Some of the referees couldn't get used to this situation. They had always made decisions all by themselves. Some referees were even asking for their ideas there. When the decision was announced, the crowd would sometimes rejoice. Sometimes they would get furious. No matter what, you would say the final word. Technology arrived. You did not pass. A Sunday morning. The edge of the city. A 22-year-old young referee. You are on his chest. He tied you to a string. You are hanging around his neck. He goes out for his first official match. A small tournament. In the first minutes, an incident occurs. A harsh tackle is made. The player is on the ground, thinking in less than half a second. He blows you. Foul. Free kick. Objections rise from the substitute bench. The young referee looks at the bench. You are in his hand. Then he lets the play continue. He tells his friend about the incident. When the sound came out, my hands started shaking, he says. At that moment, everything stopped. That single second of waiting was everything, he says. That feeling is the feeling of blowing you for the very first time. It was the feeling of all referees. Different hands. The same feeling. In every hand, there is you. You partnered in every feeling. The young referee did not pass. You did not pass either. Your every shriek was for justice. Sometimes referees cannot decide. Sometimes they make the wrong decision. You know all of it. How many times a foul wasn't given? How many times an offside signal wasn't made? In every tournament, these happened. In every tournament, it escaped the human eye. Sometimes it eliminated a team. It ended a career. You were never blown. You were the unblown voice. The voice whose absence was felt. Everything is hidden within you. All of it is real. The ones for whom the whistle wasn't blown passed. You did not pass. The regulation time is running out. The referee looks at his watch. It is just a matter of time before he ends the match. He takes you in his hand. He blows. You blow. A match ends. Thousands of fans are screaming on one side. A team loses. The other team experiences the joy of winning. It all happens at the exact same time. You say the final word. Your final whistle ends something. It starts something. The voice of the beginning comes out of you too.